just like Ali did. From American Samoa, he is the current reigning and defending Ring of Honor champion, Samoa Joe!
We're underway already. Big backdrop and the mess of streamers in there. The fans saluting Samoa Joe with that barrage of streamers, and it's not stopping this match from getting underway in a hurry. Must be a winner. World title match. Homicide, the challenger, the champion, Samoa Joe, and Joe just takes Homicide and his manager, Julius Smokes, off their feet.
Who had less than 60 seconds for when Julius Smokes would get physically involved as they desperately try to get these streamers out of the ring.
Julius, oh, Joe sails over with a tope. So much hatred between these two. So many issues. This is all that you can expect from a match like this. And right now, Joe, it looks like he's going to make Julius Smokes a non-factor in the early going. Julius Smokes shocking us all by interfering in the Spanky match last week in Boston. What a great match that was, and it's ole ole time already. And Homicide cuts off Joe and gives a finger to the crowd. The new Homicide. The Homicide. He's more dangerous than ever. He has snapped.
The fullback comes from the offside.
And look at that, a reversal, and it backfired on the Rottweilers of Smokes and Homicide. And there's the ole ole kick on Julius Smokes, and he's going into convulsions.
Well, actually a pretty sound strategy by Samoa Joe. The referee wasn't going to be able to stop Julius Smokes from interfering, and there's more of Julius Smokes than I cared to see. But the looks like we may be getting yet another ole 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 kick.
And Homicide cuts him off. This must be a winner match. Very relaxed rules in this one. Anything pretty much goes. As Homicide takes that steel barricade. So much history between these two. So much hatred. It really dates back to 2002. More recently, though, Julius Smokes taken out by Samoa Joe in the locker room. Homicide fireballing Samoa Joe in the face. The lights mysteriously going out. Ricky Reyes, the newest Rottweiler, the man who turned out the lights. And then last week, Homicide pal driving Samoa Joe. Their battles back and forth. And Samoa Joe does have a tweaked injured neck going into this one. Homicide connects with a boot right to the face of Joe. Tries for the knee. Joe just moves out of the way. Nice power slam.
Well, Samoa Joe, 270 pounds, moves like a cruiserweight. And there's a reason that he's been champion for 14 months. which is, of course, the ROH record. And I don't know what would be the bigger deal for Homicide, to win the title or to stop the win streak of Samoa Joe.
Previously, Xavier held the title for 6 months. Samoa Joe ended that reign and has gone through everybody from Christopher Daniels to AJ Styles to Paul London to Moff to Whitmer to even Homicide to Doug Williams. The list goes on and on and on. Samoa Joe made it a world title, and he's 14 months strong. If he gets through this one, he could be champion for 15 months. What an incredible feat that would be. Oh, running boot scrape right to the face of Homicide.
And it should be pointed out that Homicide last week won another high-stakes matchup when he beat Spanky.
Homicide definitely has a wave of momentum going, defeating Bryan Danielson and Spanky in 2 excellent matches on consecutive show. And the show previous to that, ROH Reborn Stage 1, he thought he had the belt run from Samoa Joe. When the referee ruled that he indeed kicked out at a 2 count, Homicide snapped and all mayhem broke loose. Joe now going for a superplex.
Chris, you've seen so many of his challengers. Is he biting the ear?
Biting him.
It goes Mike Tyson on him.
And now Homicide just dumping Joe back first on the canvas. That definitely shook Joe up.
Chris, you've seen so many of Samoa Joe's challengers. Is Homicide the most dangerous?
Well, lately he has with this new attitude, and Homicide, before pointing at his neck, signaling he's going to go after Joe's neck, and he's doing just that. I would have to say Homicide might be the most dangerous competitor in Ring of Honor right now.
There's certainly no way to argue that, especially last week when the Rottweilers were putting the beat down on Samoa Joe. The entire locker room empties out to come out to help Samoa Joe, and Homicide literally intimidated the entire locker room.
Nobody would go near him. Homicide saying he had a razor and he'd cut anybody that got in the ring, and with Homicide, you know he's serious about that.
Nobody wanted to call that bluff because they knew it wasn't a bluff.
And now we have a table and a chair in play here. The chair connects right to the head of Samoa Joe. Many people feel that Homicide is actually entering this match as the favorite after his recent battles with Joe, in addition to the fact that Samoa Joe is feeling the effects of being champion for 14 months. That's 14 months of hard matches with Joe not backing down from anyone, and he is physically taking the toll. And he might be right for the picking right here, especially with that injured neck that Homicide is working on. And Joe stops the superplex attempt to the floor through the table, suplexing Homicide into the ring.
Well, and even more importantly, as you can see, Samoa Joe almost hurt his own neck as much as Homicide got his neck hurt on that suplex. How much damage was done 3 weeks ago with the fireball that Samoa Joe still feels? How much?
What a headbutt!
These two guys are nuts.
We might have a knockout right here. There must be a winner in this one. Joe with a boot right to the back of Homicide. Oh, you can just feel the hatred between these two.
And the Rottweilers did legitimate damage to Joe's neck last week. Joe's a big, tough guy, and he's not going to back down from a fight. But yes, I do think that gives Homicide an edge.
A chop exchange back and forth. Joe coming back with forearms. Oh, what a slap. And it should be noted, 1 year ago in Philadelphia, do or die, it was Samoa Joe against Homicide as the main event for the world title. Homicide looked like he had the belt won, but he was distracted by Loki and Julius Smokes arguing at ringside. Not 11 months later, Homicide gets the rematch in St. Paul. Reborn Stage 1. Thinks he has the title won. Ruled that he doesn't. He snaps, goes insane. And now a year later here in Philadelphia, 12 months after the initial meeting at Do or Die for the world title, we have the rematch once again, and there must be a winner.
And if Samoa Joe can keep Homicide in the middle of the ring, there's an interesting stretch.
We got a dragon sleeper, almost a variation of it combined there, stretching the torso of Homicide, and you see the pain on Homicide's face. And Joe now trying to grab the legs. Julius Smokes shouting encouragement to Homicide.
If there is another reason to favor Homicide here, it is the fact that this is a must-be-a-winner, and as you like to put it, Chris, a relaxed rules match. The more the match is fought outside the ring, the more this match is fought in Homicide's turf.
Joe now, he's got Homicide down. Let's see what he can follow up with. He's scooping Homicide up. Maybe that island driver, that beat Ricky Reyes. No. And there's an enziguri. Joe goes to the floor. Homicide now hits the ropes. And nobody home on that tope on Hilo. Homicide had too much momentum. He flew over the head of Samoa Joe and went through the table. What a crash and burn. That could be it for Homicide. I don't expect this to be a long match with the rate that these two are going, and that could definitely knock him down for good. Homicide screaming about his back.
Well, Homicide has made it clear he will do anything to try to beat the title, try to beat Samoa Joe and win the title, and that includes sacrificing his own body.
Joe just suplexing him on the rubble of that table. Joe showing absolutely no mercy in this one. Just like CM Punk just did to Ricky Steamboat, coming off the top rope of that ring bell across the throat of Ricky Steamboat, who's being rushed to the hospital right now. Oh, and Joe drives Homicide into the steel right there. And it should be noted that CM Punk has definitely been paying attention to his history as he took care of Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage style, just like Savage did before WrestleMania 3. But back to the matter at hand, Joe Homicide, world title match.
Samoa Joe needs to grow some eyes in the back of his head. Julius Smokes is somewhere in this vicinity.
And we've seen, and there's Julius Smokes with a chair. No, no. And Todd Sinclair warning him, telling him not to do it.
Knock it off! Knock it off!
And now it's Julius Smokes threatening again.
Hands off!
But Homicide, what's he doing? He seems bruised and battered. Perhaps Smokes just trying to buy some time for Homicide.
Using the water to try to refresh himself.
Well, Smokes, oh, and there's the chair by Homicide. Smokes and Homicide, they have proved that they can come up with cunning schemes. They did that when the lights went out in St. Paul. The Havana Pitbulls, Rocky Romero and Ricky Reyes, now part of the Rottweilers. And Homicide has a fork. And he forks Joe right in the forehead.
Knock it off!
Homicide will do anything that it takes. And he is driving that ghetto fork right into the forehead of Samoa Joe. I saw Homicide with that fork earlier tonight. He was scraping it against a brick wall to sharpen the spokes on it. That is an extra sharp fork right there.
Abdullah the Butcher won many a titles with a fork just like that.
And I can't believe it. Samoa Joe is busted open. The ROH World Champion has never been busted open before. We have seen Samoa Joe in some brutal matches. We have never seen him bleed. And he is pouring blood out of his forehead right now.
And look at Homicide. Homicide enjoying the blood. He rubs Samoa Joe's blood over his own forehead.
Oh, this is just plain sick. Anything goes. Relaxed rules. There must be a winner. And that fork is being driven into the forehead of Samoa Joe.
This is just barbaric.
The blood is trickling from the world champion for the very first time. Todd Sinclair admonishing Homicide, but there's not much he can do. Julius Smokes John with the ringside fans. This Rottweiler camp has snapped. They are so dangerous, there's no telling what they'll do. A chair right to the head of Joe, and the champ is down.
If Homicide would quit arguing with the referee, he could pin Samoa Joe right now.
And now he's signaling, here it is. No, Joe kicks out. It's going to take more than that to defeat Samoa Joe and end this 14-month reign.
Homicide now using his knuckles to pummel that cut. Open that cut even deeper.
Homicide, he was ROH's MVP arguably in 2003 with one show-stealing match after another. He's kept the trend going in 2004 with big victories over the likes of CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Spanky. Let's see if he can finally realize his dream and become world champion as Smokes chokes Joe out.
Homicide and Julius Smokes playing Divide and Conquer with the referee.
I would never thought I would see the day when Julius Smokes would break the code of honor and interfere in matches, but that day has come as the Rottweilers have snapped. Homicide with a chop. He's making his way up. Spinning DDT. Cover! No, not enough. But look at Joe trying to massage the back of his neck there. Obviously his neck bothering him, and the neck can definitely lead to victory. We saw that in that 8-man tag with John Walters and Alex Shelley. The neck, the most sensitive part on the body.
And that's
Oh, we got an exchange of slaps, and Joe is definitely staggered. Hard chop.
Homicide just measuring him. Now Homicide really starting to take his time. It's going to be a methodical approach as he's just going to dismantle the ROH champion.
And once again, Homicide letting the fans get to him. I can't believe it. These fans have supported Homicide for years, and now he doesn't want to hear their cheers anymore. What's going on inside this man's head? Homicide stopping Joe.
Samoa Joe pulls a desperation move out of the hat.
As Homicide gets planted with that sidewalk slam. Can Joe follow up though? Joe looks fired up. Levels Homicide with those kicks. Scoops him up. Plants him again with that powerbomb cover. 2 count. Oh, into a grab, and look at that. Joe seated down on Homicide, wrenching that lower back. And if Homicide's back was injured before from that missed tope con hilo, it's an excruciating pain right now.
And notice the way that Samoa Joe was up on the thighs with the crab as opposed to the ankles.
Extra leverage there, but Homicide fighting out with those kicks from his heel. Homicide into the corner now. Up. No, Joe catches him. Running Death Valley driver.
Oh, I thought he had him. I thought he had him.
How did Homicide kick out of that? As you see the blood continuing to trickle from the forehead of Samoa Joe. Homicide taking a lot of headshots right now.
Now Samoa Joe wants to climb the ropes.
Wow, you usually don't see Samoa Joe. Oh no, you do see Samoa Joe go for this, and when he does, it's the muscle buster. He's got Homicide hooked. If he connects, it's all over. This is how he beat Homicide at Do or Die 1 year ago. No, Homicide fights back with the headbutts. He's going up now. Joe struggling, Homicide struggling. Who's gonna win out here? He's got him hooked again with the muscle buster. No! The struggle continues. Once again, he's got him up. No! Homicide turns it over and brings Joe down face first. Homicide's up. There's that lariat that pinned Danielson and Spanky. Oh, just a 2 count.
We may have St. Paul all over again because I think Homicide thought he got the 3.
I cannot believe Joe kicked out. That lariat has pinned Bryan Danielson and Spanky on the last 2 shows, and Joe got out. Homicide signaling it's all over, but look, he is bruised. He's getting that glassy eye, that glassy look in his eyes right now of being knocked out. Oh no, he could be going, no. Joe reverses it, slams Homicide again. Another high impact move by Samoa Joe. Julius Smokes, he's looking concerned. I see a glassy look in the eyes of Homicide, but Homicide stops him. Backdrop driver on the neck of Joe. And now he's got him up. Traditional pile driver, all impact on the neck. Cover, new champion. No, Joe kicks out somehow.
How does Joe do it?
This is what has made the man Ring of Honor World Champion for 14 months.
Hey, and I'm the drink, son.
At some point, Homicide's going to start getting frustrated. He's hit him with his lariat. He's hit him with drivers. He's hit him with pile drivers, and has not been able to put him away.
But look at that look, Mark. Look at the look in Homicide's eyes. His eyes are glassed over. Perhaps from those headbutts earlier. Perhaps from being dropped on his head earlier. Perhaps from that tope con hilo. If not from those, definitely those slaps. Joe scooping Homicide up right now. No. The Island Driver attempt, no good. Hangman's neck breaker. All impact on the neck. Oh, Homicide choosing not to go for the pin. Instead, he's going for that STF. Let's see if he can cinch the fingers here. He has to in order to get full impact. Yes, he does.
He's got it cinched, but he doesn't have it. There it is. It gets it under the throat, but he still doesn't have it cinched.
No, he does not have the move in full effect. As Joe trying to struggle out of it, Homicide definitely does not have it cinched. And he's going for that fourth. He's got the
This is just barbaric. I don't care if this is a no rules match or not.
And that fork stabbing Samoa Joe, and you saw the fork actually puncturing the flesh of Samoa Joe. And yes, he is busted open again. The blood flow starting with those new wounds on the forehead.
The referee has confiscated the fork.
And Homicide trying to intimidate him. Julius Smokes grabbing the foot of Joe. Joe shaking off Smokes. Joe slapping Homicide. He's fired up. Has him up. Island driver. This been Ricky Reyes' last week cover. Oh, how did Homicide kick?
And this time, it's Samoa Joe that's frustrated as he just knew he had Homicide put away.
The world champion busted open for the very first time. Both men groggy, both men tired. Homicide, a glassy look in his eyes. He might be out after that island driver. Oh no, he might be out. Joe might be one move away from the win. One more high impact move on the head might be it. Joe now scooping up Homicide. Homicide fights out of it. Yes. Lariat to the back of the head. Keith signaling for the cop killer. If he hits it, it's all over. No, Joe stops him. Suplex, but Homicide lands on his feet, but gets in with a lariat. Cover!
Again, he gets a 2.
How is Homicide doing it? I think Homicide is out on his feet, but he still manages to kick out time and time again. Joe has him hooked. He's signaling this is it. Has him up. Spikes him on his head with that brain buster. Cover!
And he gets him.
Does it.
Samoa Joe, I'm not sure if he wins or if he survives.
Oh, you're definitely right about that. The high impact move, the brain buster, it was the move that Joe needed. Maybe not the most spectacular move, but it was hard hitting, and it connected right on the injured head of Homicide. Another blow on the groggy, injured, glassy-eyed head of Homicide, and he's out. Samoa Joe, he beat all the odds. Everyone was against him. Homicide was considered the favorite, and Samoa Joe will now walk into his 15th month as ROH World Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, for Mark Nolte, I'm Chris Lovey. ROH's summer schedule is just heating up. Check ROHWrestling.com for all the details. What a night we've witnessed here in Philadelphia.
You guys ready to cut this promo?
You ready?
Let's do this thing.
Danny? Guys, come on.
What happened out there? What happened out there? Why don't you tell me what happened out there?
You know something, Whitmer? I don't have the time or the energy to deal with your silly ass right now. As much as I want to kick your ass, yeah, that got your attention, right? You big son of a bitch, yeah. That got your attention, right? What happened out there? Where were you? I'll tell you where you were. You weren't there. You weren't there. I'm not talking behind your back. I'm telling you right to your ugly mug. You weren't there. I'm gonna give this prophecy thing one last shot. One last shot. Y'all don't pull this together, I think it's time to just cancel this whole thing.
What?
Just end this whole prophecy thing. Get out of my freaking way.
No, Danny.
What are you talking about?
Danny, come on.
That's it.
What the? Why are you still here? Go away. There's no promo for you now.
It's his head. It's his head. Don't worry about it.
Get it back to the ring. Get it back to the ring. Homicide has snapped again. The crowd showing their appreciation of Homicide. They're showing that they still love Homicide. They appreciate him, but he doesn't care. Oh, what happened when we were off air was just unbelievable.
You all make me fucking disgusted.
I can't believe what Homicide's saying.
All of you, I do not need your fucking tears. The bad guy is fucking here.
Homicide has snapped. This crowd still refuses to boo him after all he's done over the years, and it's just making Homicide more insane. What's he doing? He's tearing up the ringside area. Homicide has gone insane. The demon has risen, and he's just destroying everything in sight. He's going after the camera guy now. No one is safe. The demonic Homicide has emerged. Security is running. Everyone's running. He's going after the pillar that's holding up the tent. Nobody is safe. Let's get out of here. I can't believe it. Homicide going after everyone in sight. The demon has risen. Homicide has snapped. He's going after the pillars. Evacuate. Evacuate.